kicking things off on Overpass. It's Sinner's map pick. And do you know what, Kramer? They've played it 38 times in the last 3 months. These guys are all server, relentlessly playing Counter-Strike. And they're looking to, topple the Brazilians today. Let's see how convincingly they can do so. Let's see if they can do so at all. Of course, it's still early days, and as we kick things off on the T side, it's quite a heavy util presence here from Sinners. It's Zedco and Beastic to rule it. And look at this aggression from Team 1.
Yeah, they're going to barrel their way down from mid. They're not able to catch out anyone just yet, though. Instead, the presence is shown to a second mid as well, with Zedco dueling onto Maluk. And as Neofrag finds that first kill, this forces Team 1 into a bit of a tough spot where they've got to turn their attention back around. Again, they'll try and worm out where they can, but the reality is Sinners, they're going to be more than happy with that man advantage. And considering the low HP of PRT and Maluk, they're going to be more than happy just to take these duels wherever they come up. Zedco, he'll aggress towards second mid, spots out PRT, finishes the job. And now as it falls down to a 5-on-3, we haven't seen that utility on Sinners be expended at all either. With 2 smokes and a molly ready at their dispense, it's going to be down to B. They look to attack, and it's going to be a convincing attack at that, considering Team 1, they've rolled the dice towards the safe side. Pesadillo will rotate, and for Sinners, this site is just going to be left. They're going to approach, and they're just to see a single tumbleweed maybe bounce across the site, and that's it. There's no defense with a bomb plant. This should be a pistol round for Sinners as they get things underway.
Yeah, Team 1, they've rolled the dice and the dice have fallen off the table. They've guessed completely incorrectly. They're on towards the wrong bomb site. There's not really a lot of point in saving here. There's not really a whole lot for them to save. So a little bit of damage here is really the goal, especially with this kit on Pasadello. There's a slither of hope for them. But I think as they take these early engagements, if they lose them, that would just be round over. Look at this from Oscar, hiding towards CASA, so disciplined. As soon as Pasadello creeps up, there we go. Kit gone, Oscar's won the duel. And I think that's Maluk and Malbs' call to say, right, we can no longer win this round. Let's fall away.
As they back away, Malbs, he does the odd bit of damage, but Zedco just deletes him, and as Maluk, he just cowers. He goes and hides towards the safe side. He holds on to the armor he has, because of course he was dinked. It means he still has full armor, and it means that getting head armor next round is a very real possibility for him, so we might see a bit of a hero buy on him. And as he peeks towards second apps, he's actually killed anyway. Oscar finishes the job, Sinners with a pistol round, and keeping every single member left standing.
Well, a great pistol round there from Sinners, and one that they were just in full control of from the very start. They found those opening picks, then they outmaneuver their opponents. They take that site and even don't allow any of them to save. Not that they were saving all too much. We go into this second round, and Team 1, they're going to go for the Deagles, a scout on Maluk. And Sinners are actually going to go for a bit of a bonus here. They go for these Mac 10s. They're looking to try and farm some cash with them.
So make their way forward. Maluk, that's an opening as Oscar falls. And on the flip side, we see Zedco now aggressing to try and finish that job. He catches out Maluk, and there's the equalizer as it goes down to a 2-on-2. Neofrag showing some presence towards B is going to try and duel Malbs, but he's punished for it. As Team 1, they show that actually these Eagles are something to fear.
Oh yeah, it's actually a really great start here from Team 1 to find that opening pick, to follow up on a second as well. Maluk's scout shot was something to really admire, especially considering Oscar had a rifle. What has happened, though, is that B-Sticks retrieved Neofrag's fallen AK, so instead of that Mac 10, they've now got that to work with. And as they start to walk further towards this B site, it seems like that is going to be their final destination. They've got plenty of utility as well, so we will see a proper execution. That Team 1 haven't really got the counter util to hold back. There'll be a smoke that's deployed. It just has to be timed right here by Pasadello, and a single flash to maybe work with. I think it's on the right site. No, in fact, that's over towards A. So these guys really going to be challenged here on the execute.
Well, as they make a bit of noise, that smoke will go down, but Pesadillo still needs to be a little bit careful. The mollies go out as well. Any second now, they'll flash their way through, and with 35 seconds left, Team 1 still haven't rotated, which is interesting. As soon as they go quiet, they let that smoke fade, and now we'll see that true execution. Now, as the re-smoke goes down as well, Sinners in a very tough spot. They're going to have hardly any time by the time they hit this site. And there goes the execution. Any second now, see that flash through the smoke. That they do. Double flash as well. Pesadillo looking to duel, as will Malbs. B-Stick good for one. Malbs going to get the next say in the matter. Not quite yet. Eventually onto Zedco. Tries to double up onto B-Stick. Swings wide. Shocks the one to fall. B-Stick now in a 1 versus 3. 5 seconds remaining. And Malbs, he has played it to absolute perfection. B-Stick eventually kills him, but it doesn't matter. Skulls finishes the job. And Team 1, they now equalize.
That is rough there from Sinners and Team 1. I talked about if they deploy that smoke and they time it properly, then it can make all the difference. The first smoke goes down and Sinners can justify waiting behind it. The second one goes down and you can see they sit behind it for a few seconds and then they realize we can't wait this one out. Otherwise, we're going to be pressing onto a site with 10 seconds left. And when that happens, there's huge potential for a Deagle just holding towards Dark or New Box to deny the plant and then it's round over. And that's exactly what happens. Sinners, they get crushed. And as they come into round number 3, it's the pistol force up. There's really not too much firepower behind it, and as they start to creep up towards this ace site, they look to get up close and personal with these automatic weapons here from the Brazilians. But I'm not sure how much success they're really going to have with it.
So they slowly shift their way ahead. They know full well that Team 1's going to be in a bit of a position just to deploy a little bit of util to keep them back, and as they do just that, Sinners, again, just let that util fly. They're just going to look to burst out towards short. A bit of damage done through the smoke on behalf of Skulls. Chelsea needs to be a bit careful as well. He's good for 1 before beasting their trades. But Luke, though, he's there to finish the job. As it goes down to a 4-on-2. Oscar alone tries to do a bit of damage with that Deagle. Still can't quite do so. Still can't mimic the success of Malb's last round. And as Zedco on long is finished off by Skulls, that should be the round. Oscar, he too is dispatched. And at 2-1, Team 1 take the lead. And they show us that actually they might even try and put it into the runnings of a 2-0, Josh.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they can take Sinner's map pick, then our predictions go completely out the window, and that with everyone's on Twitter as well, because I think everybody really anticipated, at the very least, for Sinners to take this first map, and I think we were kind of expecting Sinners to take this first map in a fairly dominant fashion. Still very, very early days, but as they drop down to an eco, Team 1 should be able to take a 3-1 lead, and that's a very good start. If they can take that and string together a few more rounds off of it, they put themselves in quite a strong position early on, and then you're kind of just playing for 1 or 2 on the top of it.
Well, as we see this aggression ready to come through, there's a full white as Malbs will lead his own way forward, looking to catch out the old Sinners member. And for Maluk, it'll just make sure that Team 1, they're forced back, they're forced to hold. And as Sinners continue their presence, it's down to Team 1 who, well, they're quickly dispatched. Malbs onto Shock, finishes the job. And with that, it goes down to a 5-on-4. And for Sinners, this is just an eco. They fully expect to lose it, and I think they'll do just that.
Well, both teams kind of resetting at this point. Really slow stuff to quiet before the storm. And Zedco, I think he might have just been spotted. Skulls looking to pounce, spamming away. Tons of damage dealt, and Zedco can't even re-peek on that one. As he starts to fall away, he's going to be challenged by Maluk, and he absolutely will fall. Not going to win that engagement. Oscar does find one back, but they are being pressed right now. Sinners, I think they were just kind of trying to like stay alive here, hope that Team 1 would aggress into them, and then they'd be able to pick off a couple of members. I don't think they want to just fall to all these MP9s, but that's exactly what happens. Malbs gets every single man. I quite like the idea behind that from Sinners to basically say, right, they're on a force buy where they're going to have MP9s and things like that. We're on an eco. We really don't want them to just run around and farm loads of cash. But Team 1, they were wise to it. They push just about everything. And as Sinners go into this next round with the AKs, Team 1 actually reinvest. They don't even hold on to those MP9s. They want to come into this with full force.
As we get ready for this attack, we look over towards this next member of Sinners who, again, with a bit of a shaky start. Frag spams through that smoke, does a lot of damage to BRT, but can't find the kill. Flash to eventually will. He'll double up onto Malbs as well, who's caught out in midair. With that, it falls down to a 5-on-3. With the rotation of Pesadello, he'll make his way towards Coffins, but at that point, Sinners, they seem more than happy to finish the job, which they will do just that any second now.
A 2-man advantage here from Sinners. They've got off to a very good start here in this round as Maluk's got the sniper, looks to re-peek. That is a very, very fast flick. Doesn't quite level out the numbers, but brings it into a position where Team 1 actually have a chance here. And with Sinners still playing very defensive, still going for this incredibly passive default, Team 1 have got wiggle room. They've got an opportunity to rotate a man over to this B site, but with no noise made from Sinners, it's all a bit of a gamble. It all comes down to reading their opponents. And Sinners, well, they've proved themselves to be quite a tough team to read. And as we see the low man towards Pit, Skulls, he's going to be challenged.
And as he is challenged, I fear that Skull's the lone man in a 1 versus what will be 4 for the site, really. He's going to have to beg for a rotation any second now, but 30 seconds left, none can possibly come. He'll cower towards a site, he'll hide towards back boxes, and as Sinners get ready for this assault, they're going as quiet as humanly possible. They're at a stage now where no matter where the rotation comes from, it won't be quick enough, but as Skull's back site catches out Neofrag, he'll double down as well onto Beaststick. Oh, and 10 seconds left. This is damn scary. Eventually, he's killed by Zedco, but in a 2-on-2, things now look like it could absolutely go either way. With Zedco shifting forward, he's got his teammate towards the other side of this position, and well, for Team 1, let's see what they can do now, Josh, and what could be a bit of a scary circumstance. Pesadello, he'll push forward into shock, but he'll quickly be killed. And now Maluk in a 1 versus 2. He's won situations like this before. He's had a great start to the game. Does he think he's had a better one? No, he doesn't. He'll back away. He'll save that all. But Sinners, they make it 2.
It's unfortunate the peek towards short. It's kind of screwed over by the sun. The shadow peeks out before your body does. So shock always going to win that duel. And well, it's no secret that Sinners like to run down the clock. We see it time and time again in their matches. They really do leave it down to the final few seconds, but it's always worrying to see, isn't it? You see them in like a 4v3 situation. They're walking towards a site where there's a member stacked into the pit, and well, it gets very, very close. You see Skull's 2 huge kills here, and as that bomb's dropped out in the open, I think that C4 is actually planted with about 3 seconds to spare. So Sinners really cutting it down to the wire.
So about their way forward, we see Sinners again with their buy shot is pretty strong, but we actually see this Mac 10 come out on Beaststick. Whether or not that's because of economic stress or it's because he wants to try and farm a bit of cash, we're going to have to see as he teases a bit of an early peek towards Banana, or sorry, towards Banana, my apologies, towards Apps, just to keep Team 1 from being too aggressive towards second mid. But as retake util goes down, Malbs will be the one flashed in. The nade, he eats it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't do much damage. As he hard clears B, he'll look to be, well, it looks to challenge these players who are going to be boosted up, ready to re-clear this position on Banana, regain map control, and Team 1, while they do give up top Banana, they're going to burn a lot of utility in the process.
Oh, I'm not sure what Maluk's actually seen there, but he's definitely seen something and led Zedco down off of the back of it. 15 points of health to Zedco's name right now, and Team 1, whilst they've got 2 MP9s on this defense, they've done a fair amount of damage to these Sinners players just with this early preliminary utility, and it means that these MP9s are quite deadly. Zedco 1 hit away from it, and as the flashes come over the top, the counter util goes down. That Molotov, it's going to do loads, and Beaststick, he's going to fall right through that smoke.
Well, smokes go down, and as Neofrag punches in those numbers through the smoke, Oscar's good for 1. Mabs falls, but down to a 4-on-4. And as Oscar, he's going to have to watch out. Shock falls to Pesadello, boosted up through the smoke. Neofrag's tagged down as well, but he's not killed. And as that bomb slowly ticks away, Team 1, they've only got a handful of flashes to get them onto this site. As Oscar, he'll back away, he'll hide. Sills on the flip side down of anything, so as Zedco cows towards Banana, he'll be ready for an attack, as is Oscar. And as we see a really slow start, a few shots ring out either way. This baits PRT as we taken down. Pesadello there to trade. The bomb's sticking down so low, though. And as Oscar finishes the job on 1, he'll double up on the Skulls. He'll look to triple up. He does just that. Well, look, fools, and Sinners tie things up 3-3 as they force Team 1 down to a very shoddy bye.
That's a 4K from Oscar, and with it, he'll be dropped that AWP. A massive play from the man, and it's one that ties up this scoreline, brings it 3-3. Of course, Team 1, they don't have any money off the back of this, so Sinners should be able to take the lead. This has been a fantastic recovery from them. And look at that from Oscar, the initiative to spam through that smoke, and then the skill, just 1, spin around 2, and then right back around on 180 for the 3rd. Really, really highly skilled player. And Neofrag now looking to try and take out this member towards the B site. That nade, oh, narrowly misses. That would have done a lot of damage.
It's a really almost escape from the amount of damage done to them. And as we look over towards this next side, who once again just to wait to see what comes their way, at least in terms of what will be an attack of Team 1, actually taking their time. It's only a single smoke on Pesadello. The rest only have USPs. So Sinners, all they have to do is avoid the stack on long, and that should just give them this 4th round.
Well, it absolutely should. I can't imagine that they fall to this USP. The only way that this kind of stack actually works is if Sinners all just funnel into long, which wouldn't make a lot of sense, to be honest. And there we go. Long smoke goes down. Flash will go out. and there's absolutely no way they'll be walking into this one. You actually see the bomb's been left towards bottom banana, so whilst they feel around for the control, they don't spot out anyone in brackets, they don't spot out anyone in banana. I think they will just regroup, hit towards what will likely be a B push, and they'll be able to comfortably take this one.
As Sinners get ready for this attack. It's going to be a swing from B stick. Good for one. Malv's there to trade, and as he spots the stack, that'll trigger the B execution. That it is for Team 1. This picked up max 10. Sure, it's a max 10. Unfortunately, the only kind of worry that Sinners have with it is that there won't be too much economy farm for B stick. But through the smoke, bit of damage done here or there, just to show a bit of presence. And as Neofrag tries to deter a push, Team 1 look like they might actually go for this nonetheless.
Well, there's no real reason not to, is there, Maluk? No point in him really saving a Mac 10. They're looking to try and do some damage with it, and the USPs, well, if they fall away, all they're doing is preserving their KD. There's not really anything for them to take away from this one, so damage is the game plan here, and Malbs, oh, he's able to do some. Nice swing, nice headshot, comes out and gets a dink onto Zedco there, but he can't actually finish off the job, and Sinners, they take it to 4, and they only lose that Mac 10 there on their final engagement, so actually they'll be quite happy to come into this one, hold on to those rifles, reinvest without too many issues, and they know that up against the buy from Team 1 here, there's not going to be a sniper, so it's just going to be these M4s to contend with. They've been really given a run for their money. I think they were probably expecting this one to be a little bit easier than it has been so far, but they've recovered it very nicely nonetheless.
They absolutely have, and for Team 1, with what will be a group of M4s brought up, there's a lot of utility around it, but with no head armor on everyone, and with no orb, it's a scattered buy. It could be better, and I think they know that as well, as we'll see the odd bit of presence shown towards mid, the odd volley thrown, the same for B, it's the odd bit of nade, but there's no real commitment to this map control, as we see Shock, the one to lead this charge, over towards top mid. He might even go through the smoke towards the long, but Maluk, does he spot it out? Yes and no. Yes, he reacts. No, he doesn't win an Angel. Zedco, a beautiful shot by him. As now Skulls, he'll aggress towards short to try and keep it even, as will Neofrag ready for the players who are going to peek towards B. Any second out, there's the first member. Malbs comes out on top. And honestly, Josh, Malbs, he is hitting some shots right now.
He really is. What I think is quite admirable is Zedco's opening pick there. I don't know if it's just me being slow, but I always find that when pushing through a smoke like that, it can always take your eyes a second or two to like kind of reset from going to a full grey screen to them being on the other side of it. So to react and find that headshot, really big kill to find, really big opening that actually gives them a lot of opportunity now to take this A site, closing in from all angles onto the man on site. And of course, Oscar catching out the flank from short. PRT is now got a 1-on-4 to clutch up. And there's no way he's expecting the flank from Zedco. It's going to be 5 here for Sinners, and that is a really, really great round.
5-3 lead for Sinners, so they're going to be more than happy with that. Team 1, as they have a few pistols here or there. It's going to be a shaky buy nonetheless, and it's once we hit this sort of shaky buy, it's exactly what we saw earlier with Lingby Vikings and the Movistar Riders, where Movistar Riders, once they have orbs or they have rifles, they're incredible, but once Lingby Vikings had the economy of their opponents in a vice-like grip, they had no chance. So we see that exactly being played out now with Sinners preventing Team 1 from getting those orbs out, from getting that substantial utility with them, and as they slowly pull ahead, it's going to be 5-3, Team 1 on pistols once more.
It should be 6 here for Sinners, and that's a really good benchmark for them to hit here on this T side. Means that one more would be a good half, and they're definitely thriving for more than that, as they've got quite the lead here. Just the pistols, of course, for Team 1. No Kevlar, just a smoke and a flash to accompany it. And if these members lose this B control, then that's going to be round over. Instead, it's Shock to find 2 in Boiler. A trade comes through. Actually, Maluk takes out that AWP on Oscar, but that's it. And that AWP, it will be retrieved, and I think they'll be able to shrug that one off.
Malbs alone in a 1 versus 4. Unfortunately, he's nowhere near the right site, and while Neofrag backs away, Malbs does have an angle to try and find that kill. Unfortunately, he doesn't even shoot. Instead, he hides and he waits to see what comes his way, as we see Malbs finishing the job onto Neofrag. That's a nice shot, and with that, it falls down to a 1-on-3. AK in hand, he's quickly dispatched by Shock. Shock making sure that he doesn't hold on to that weapon, and at 6-3, Team 1 move to their next buy.
This is such a huge opening here from Shock. I mean, he's just up against the pistols, but still pinpoint precision to find both of those headshots. And there's that aforementioned 6th round. Maluk does pull himself out a sniper, and we've seen him as quite a worthy opponent for Oscar. Oscar's normally the best stalker on the server, and Maluk's really giving him a run for his money. As we go into round number 10, let's see if he can do it again.
Team 1, they're going to go for what looks like banana control now. Early smokes go down. There's mollies that complement it, but luck, that's the quick kill. And the trade, though, from Zedco, not there either. He spotted out the membrane apps, but he couldn't quite finish the job. And with that, Sinners, they just take a moment to embrace this lull. A man down, they've got to make up for it. They try to do so with mid control.
They're desperate to try and even out this man count, and as it looks like they're actually about to bomb through this smoke on short, this could catch other members off guard. Instead, it's going to be a boost. This is smart from Zedco. Gives him a cool sightline that they're not necessarily expecting him to have, and as he jumps up on top of the roof, he might even be able to jump up onto the plant pots and take an angle with the man on site that he's not going to be expecting in a million years. This is a very smart play from Zedco, but it all comes down to timing.
Second now we see that aggression. Zedco finishes off the first member. He can't quite find the second though. When for Maluk, he's just going to push his way forward. I think he'll spot out going through the smoke by Shock. He misses his shot, but Skulls is able to find the first kill. Traded out by Zedco. Maluk backside finished off by Nearfrag as well. And Sinners, they trade perfectly. It's a man advantage for Sinners. And for Team 1, now left with 2 members are standing. Pesadello and Malbs. At what point do they just have to save? As these mollies go down, the Sinners get ready for this attack.
Well, man advantage here for Sinners, and they've got some util still to work with, so the flashes will certainly be deployed, and there we go. Malbs can't even see in that one, and it puts it to 7 for Sinners. There's not going to be any money for the buy here from Team 1 once again, and Sinners should be able to make this 8. So this is really starting to cement itself as a very, very good half here for Sinners map pick. And of course, Team 1, whilst they had that little burst of 3 rounds at the start, we saw the scoreline. It went 3-1 at one stage. They're now quite heavily trailing, and they've got a big old gap to close if they want to call this one a good half.
You're absolutely right. And I fear for Team 1 at the moment because this is looking like a very, very one-sided affair. And if Sinners take this ridiculously one-sided, say 16-3 for instance, they're going to have so much momentum that train, it might not even matter that it's Team 1's map pick.
Exactly, and Sinners have got a good record as well over on Train, so it's like they're not going to be too phased by it. It's not going to be this map that they're worried about going into. And as you said before, if they can make Inferno look super convincing, then they're going to go into it with a load of confidence as well. Look at this, nice headshot there from Skulls, but they still come out in a pretty rough spot in that one. And there we go, Skulls thinking that he's got himself an AK towards Logs. Instead, it's the HE to deny it. And Sinners, they should be able to take themselves quite a comfortable 8th here, especially with PRT being flanked.
So they slowly push their way forward. No one's caught out another just yet, but there's Oscar going for 1. PRT to get the next stay in the matter. PRT alone in a 1 versus 3. AK in hand, he'll tease a peek towards Oscar, but it won't matter. With Shock there to backstab, Oscar finishes him off anyway. It goes 8-3, and Team 1 fall to another bye.
This, again, I don't want to say it's a must-win round, okay? But this is a very important one for them to pick up. It kind of is a must-win round because if Sinners win this one, it's 9. Team 1 won't have the cash unless they go for some kind of save, and then they're on to double digits, and Team 1, best case, are looking at a 10-5 half. If they can pull it back right now, 8-7, it's still on the cards. It's kind of one of these crossroads. We see Counter-Strike. It's a game where there's these small margins, yeah? And if you can kind of make those margins go your way and you start to you pull it back in a situation like this, it's a very, very winnable game for you. But if you don't win these key swing rounds, then all of a sudden a game that you think you have equity in just goes in the bin. We see a quick time out there, and we see a little glimpse of the cameras as well there of the Team 1 boot camp. I'm not quite sure where they are at the moment, actually, but they're boot camping somewhere here in Europe.
Somewhere in Portugal, aren't they?
Is it? Okay, that's interesting.
It's, I don't know why, because I know Godsent, they were just at the Godsent HQ. Is it Godsent and Team 1 the only teams that are kind of boot camping in Europe at the moment?
I'm not sure. I know MIBR were, but I don't think they're here anymore.
I don't know if MIBR are still there. Well, either way, let's see what they can do for going forward, because for now it's going to be a lot of spam damage done towards mid. It's a man advantage for Sinners, but to what avail? They take a bit of damage as they wrap towards long, and PRT, he's acutely aware that these players are about to peek into him. Here comes the nade stack, here comes that util, and if Sinners committed to that, suddenly Team 1 would have been in a lot of trouble. However, as they push their way forward, Malbs, he'll slowly peek his way forward, and Any second now, we'll see this attack. No one's killed one another just yet. And as we await this lull, Team 1 get ready for the attack to come their way.
Oh, still this man advantage for Sinners, and look how they stacked up towards this A site. Damage dealt there by Neofrag, but Mounds is able to trade it, and we find ourselves right back in a 4-on-4. No potential for Sinners to bounce that one back. And right now they have a decision to make. There's 50 seconds on this clock. They've got a bit of a free B bomb site if they want it, but of course they don't realize. And as they slow it down, Team 1 actually start to think that maybe they are backtracking elsewhere, and they rotate an extra man over. Only a 2-man defense here now on this A site, and there's no crossfire established in pit. Instead, both of the members on the bomb site itself, and this utility that's left over from Sinners could be deadly.
Tell you what, KMS, he's our hero. Right now, Team 1, the boot cappy of Warsaw, not in Portugal. So our admins come to our rescue, and Beastick, he's come to Sinner's rescue. That's a quick kill onto Malbs, and now a man advantage. They're going to swarm this ace site. Beastick for another onto PRT. Now Skull's back site, good for one. Zedko falls as well. Does he double up onto Oscary? Nicks him, but he can't finish the job. That plant will go down. Pesadello alone in a 1 versus 2. Will shift his way forward from Apps, but honestly, Josh, he is in a very tough spot. And it looks like Oscar scopes in already. I think Oscar fully expects him to come out of Apps. And as Pesadello goes to the timing, he shifts forward, misses the shots, tries to jump down. Oscar finishes the job. And at 9-3, Team 1 are in a lot of trouble.
That's really unfortunate timing as well. To see the scope there, you've either got to fire that shot and connect it, or don't fire it at all, because as soon as you click that button, that's it. If you don't connect that shot, you're dead, and that's exactly what happens right there. We see the round go Sinner's way once again. It's 9-3. A huge attempt there from Skulls, a very nice hold. But without his teammates coming through and outputting the same kind of damage as him, there's no opportunity for them to win the round. And Sinners, right now, they're on for double digits as they face up against just the pistols.
They absolutely are, and Beastick, as he gets ready for this attack, players get ready to launch this push, and as the molly goes down around him, it's actually down to Sinners, who slowly peek their way forward, and with Beastick shutting down Pesadello, it falls down to Malbs alone in a 1 versus 5. Well, I say 1 versus 5 because he's the sole man towards the side, so 1 versus 3, with 3 men towards Sinners committed towards the top of Banana, and they don't commit. They know full well that Team 1 are on pistols. They know full well that these pistols have that knack to kill them. This Team 1 seem to have the ability to make them work, and I like the discipline that Sinners are showing because of that.
Well, man advantage once again here for Sinners. Skulls might be able to catch one out in rotation. It shocks out of Mexico, but he's got the element of surprise. Pokes his head up, and that's the last place Skulls is expecting him to be. 2-man advantage here now for Sinners as they start to work towards this B site. Team 1 seem to have a good read on the situation. They've got all 3 players starting to work towards that area, but still, they haven't got the weapons to hold this.
Well, there goes the util. There goes the push to force Malbs out of position. Malik holding close towards this smoke is going to eat a nade for his woes, and Zedko, he's just going to hide in this corner while his team head towards this ace site. Fortunately, Team 1, they've been bamboozled, they've been faked, and they've been had. Zedko, he's now going to try and clean them up. As he does so, he lines up 2 quick kills, swings into the 3rd, finishes the job, and at 10-3, Sinners show a masterful display of tactics and strategy.
Yeah, they've really started to find their footing here on Inferno. Of course, this is just so disciplined here from Zedko, hiding in this corner. There's no opportunity for any kind of upset there from Team 1. If Sinners walk into a B site, they fall for that stack. There's potential that those deagles in a crossfire can cause some damage. But Zedko, just super disciplined. Sinners, they're already onto double digits. This is already a really good half, and they've still got 2 more rounds to play with. Of course, they got off to a bit of a rocky start here on Inferno, but they really are showing us why this is their home turf, and they're telling Team 1 to get away from it, because this is very one-sided indeed. And as you said before, if they can actually keep this up and close this map out, something like 16-6, 16-7, something super one-sided, then Team 1's confidence is going to be really knocked as they move on to train.
You want a fun... you want a fun thing? That's Pesadello doesn't have a head anymore. What I was to say, Josh, is do you know the difference between strategy and tactics?
No, and I'm not even going to attempt to answer it because I'll embarrass myself. So you can tell me, Mr. Kramer.
Your strategy is your grand scheme of things. So for Sinners, their strategy is going to be to win the map. The tactics is how you're going to get there. So for Sinners, the strategy is to win the map. The tactics is going to be through beat executions.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
That is pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I learned that recently.
That's good. I never knew. I kind of just thought they were the same thing. I knew that maybe they had like minor differences, but I didn't realize that was it. Nice block of the smoke there from PRT. We see that more and more often, and it gives him a nice gap to work with. So he can sit around the right-hand side of it. But this isn't anticipated to be able to do damage. But Beastic, fully aware, he looks at that smoke and scratches his head and goes, that's not quite where it's supposed to be. And then he'll hard clear that right-hand corner of it. Brilliant stuff.
It's a great read and down to a 4-on-3. What's scary for Sinners is that two of their members, are very low on HP. But Team 1, they have no way of knowing. They have no way of being able to risk it. They back away, they save their weapons, and Sinners, they make it an 11-3 lead. Josh, we have a horrifically one-sided affair on our hands right now.
Yeah, as more and more rounds start to slip away, you start to realize that Sinners, they are cementing this lead, and they're actually getting themselves very, very close to just closing this one out. It's now 11-3, Team 1, with saving a couple of these rifles and the max loss bonus that they've now accumulated. They will be able to drop a couple of M4s, and we will see a full investment going into the last of the half. But even if they win it, it's 11-4. If they lose it, it's 12-3. And we always kind of say that anything past 11-4 is kind of gone past the point of no return. That shot from Oscar earlier was absolutely nuts. To have the reactions to hit a flick like that is unbelievable.
As we look over towards Sinners, who, again, just all on fire. Look at their money, Josh. Not that it matters anymore, but the fact they have that money, it's just a massive, massive kind of hallmark of their endeavor. And as Beastic fully flash pushes towards B, he's going to fall early on. So as he takes a bit of damage, the Util is going to pepper the Team 1 position. And as they go for banana control, regardless, Neofrag is forced to extinguish it on wood. But as Pesadelo gets ready for this further attack, any second now, as he's getting extinguished, it's a massive expenditure towards Banana. Shock, he's able to even it out. And as he comes out the smoke, just shooting, Pesadelo falls. And now the continuation of this Util is forcing Team 1 to stay close to this wall, close to these sandbags, and get ready for the attack to come straight into them. Oscar, the only man with utility left, and he's already just gone and killed Skulls.
That's just unreal. Neofrag should be dead to rights there. And somehow his teammates have saved his life. Beautiful read on PRT. A fantastic headshot to follow it. And now a two-man advantage. Malbs, he's so low on health. He falls away. That's actually a nice bit of movement there to get himself on a self-boost on Newbox. That's the last place they're going to be expecting him to be. But Neofrag apparently not. That is a ridiculous read.
That's insane. Maluk, the last man left standing, and Josh, I can't help but think this is over. Yeah, we speak about 11-4 being the absolute lowest you can go before the game's still retrievable, and Team 1 don't even manage that. Yeah, they go for the odd shot here or there, but it doesn't matter. Sinners, they lead 12-3 at the end of their half as they move to that favored CT side. What on earth can Team 1 do?
I don't know what the answer is. Yeah, I suppose you've got to start it with a pistol round win, close your eyes and hope for the best. At this kind of stage, the only way to come back is to play it round by round, and then when it starts to get a little bit closer towards the end, then maybe you start to believe in the comeback. But at this stage, they are being completely outplayed. You see Pesadelo and PRT only on 4 frags. The only man here that's actually putting up some numbers for Team 1 is Malbs, who's breached into double digits. He's 12-12. Whereas on the Sinners side, everybody putting up a monstrous performance. And Oscar, 16 frags, leading the charge on the server and putting up a very, very good game.
Shock, he's ready for the initial play. It doesn't quite finish the job, but for Team 1, it's going to be a fairly util-heavy pistol round. We got 2 smokes, 2 nades, 2 flashes to ease them wherever they choose to attack. But Sinners, they're going a bit more armor-heavy. Just a single smoking kit over on B-Stick, and they're just going to be ready to commence an onslaught at wherever they choose to attack. For Sinners, they expect it to be it's a 3-man commitment towards long, and what's nice about this long commitment is that they can rotate anywhere pretty damn quickly.
Oh, you see this fairly heavy util here. PRT and Maluk with those nades. And over on Sinners, everyone's on that Kevlar. B-Stick, the only man with the kit. Neofrag, he's actually just jiggling towards this coffins area. He's the lone man towards the B site, but he's caught in the early rotation. So whilst he'll fall away and they'll play retake, they are hot on their heels with this retake. They're so close, they're going to go for it instantly, maybe even before the bomb goes down.
Oscar good for one. Mabs instantly there to trade, and as it goes 4-on-4, we're going to see this retake get ready to spring to life. We've got Maluk shifting his way forward, as will PRT on the close angle towards Coffins. He's caught out by Neofrag. Trade not there, but Oscar's dinked down in the process. He'll back his way around towards CT, and as any second now, we'll see this attack come through. Neofrag's going to show a bit of presence. He's got his teammate there to assist. Smoke goes down on the bomb. It's stuck by B-Stick again, but again, he's able to just hold it. Spam into the smoke. Shock swings forward. He also falls. The defuse comes through. Sinners come out on top, and they now lead 13-3 with a beautiful read and a beautiful bit of split-second decision-making from B-Stick.
I mean, that's just insane. Sinners, they pulled around from the inside out, and that's just unreal to see a 5v5 retake like that. The setup that Sinners have gone for there, they've obviously practiced, where they just have Neofrag playing solo on the Coffins. He calls the very early rotation based off of the sound cues, and then they just go for the hard retake before their opponents even know what's going on. The smoke and the diffuse, whilst it's ridiculous. A smoke and diffuse whilst Team 1 still have 2 members on the site. It's absolutely nuts. And as I say, pulls the round apart from the inside out.
A great showing. And we look over towards these next couple of players and this next position for Team 1. And, well, I think anyone's prediction has just gone blown out of the water. I think everyone expected this to be a bit closer than it actually has been. Apart from, I think, Punico, he predicted, like, I think he said 16-0 on all 3 maps. So, while I think what's scary is that he's the closest. Like, he's at the closest prediction at 16-0 on all 3 maps. But as you see Team 1, they go for a bit of an early default, trying to just peek anywhere early. They haven't quite killed anyone just yet, because Sinners, they're just going to be a bit more passive, knowing full well that they're able to hold firm.
Yeah, there should maybe be a small prize for, like, the closest person. That'd be funny if Panico actually comes through with that one. But, well, that's a beautiful one up there from Malbs, kicking things off with a bang onto Shock. And considering they lost the pistol round, they've actually got a very strong buy right now. And with that man advantage, in a good position to try and bounce this back.
So yeah, ready for this attack. We see Maluk. Again, just teasing this peak towards May or towards mid. No one's really fighting. Sinners with a man down, they're being a lot more passive. And through this double pit setup, it's a really strong position to be in. As these flashes go out, Oscar, he's forced away. He actually turns at the perfect moment, shuts down Skulls. Now Zedco has to try and go huge. With Oscar, he's able to double up onto PRC as well. Re-peeking, Pesadello might be in a lot of trouble. And it's so messy by Zedco, but he comes out on top nonetheless. So it is 2-on-3 now. Sinners, they've recovered beautifully. Malb's back sight, he's still got players to worry about from both pits and long. And as any second out, see this aggression towards short. Maluk comes out on top, but on top to what avail? Neofrag, he's also got to try and duel Malbs, but on low HP, how's that even possible? Look at this flash. Oh, it's absolutely phenomenal. What a flash by Zedco. Maluk alone, he's finished off by Zedco. And I am so impressed by Sinners there.
That is insane. Honestly, that is awesome. Zedco in the pit, being the fact that Team 1 weren't able to get rid of him for the entire round, he causes major complications. And the fact that he's been able to throw a flash from pit that blinds a guy on site watching long, and he knows a setup flash for that, yeah? Unless he's just thrown that on the fly and got a bit lucky with it. Presumably, he knows a flash that's going to perfectly pop flash the man on the bomb site. That's absolutely nuts. That's so cool.
I'm so impressed. I'm genuinely so impressed by that. And for Team 1, they're down to pistols. Josh, I think we might genuinely see a 16-3.
It's certainly shaping up that way, isn't it? Team 1, unless they pull off something crazy here with just the Desert Eagles in hand, then next round will be their last buy, and that will be with Sinners on map point. Beautiful volley there to force them back. And remember, Team 1 took 3 rounds at the start of this. It was 3-1, and well, they were the only rounds they've been able to take.
Oscar, he'll tease a peek around this corner, ready to slowly shift his way forward. And as PRT's about to worry about, PRT tagged down a little bit low, but Skulls comes out on top. Shock to trade. And Oscar will be the next man to finish the job. It's all on Pesadello, alone in a 1 versus 4. What good can he hope to do here, Josh? Obviously not very much with Oscar. Again, there to finish the job. 15-3, Sinners now lead as they look to give us almost one-sided affair yet.
Ooh. Ted's just put in a 16-5, 16-6 Sinners, but it's definitely too late for that. He's not allowed anymore. That doesn't count.
I appreciate the late contribution, and I'm sure I'll be very happy with it, but he tried.
It's too late. It's too late. It locks. Surely, as soon as we start,
it locks the second the ad break finishes of the start of the first map.
Yep. But it's interesting that he thinks that Team 1 will actually pull back a couple of rounds here. I mean, it's kind of always the way it goes, isn't it? When you're on map point and there's like one final buy, Team 1, they'll probably have some final little burst of energy here and pull back a couple. But look at the coordination right now on Sinners. All of the nades, they're timed to perfection. And just as Team 1 think, oh, okay, we've waited out the nades here on Banana, now we'll aggress, they're completely bombarded. And my goodness, I don't even think they're going to be able to put down a couple more.
Maluk's the last man left standing for that Banana attack, and while he does have two other members to support him on Team 1, they go to a 3v4 with Maluk low on HP, ready to be kind of abused, and unfortunately, it's down to Shock, who just jiggle peeks a little bit towards Long, tries to come out on top, but can he do so? There's the flank of Beast-Stick, good for one, good for two in a second. Actually, PRC is able to just deter him for now, but the deterrence isn't a avoidance, and it isn't a kind of shutdown on him. As Beast-Stick, he just pushes way forward, and he should just quickly kill PRT. Skull's left alone in a 1 versus 4 without the bomb. 40 seconds left. Josh, Sinners, they're going to rise ahead, and they're going to take Inferno 16-3. An incredibly one-sided game as they stomp Team 1 into the ground. We see Team 1 have to take a moment, take a good long look at what the hell that was to try and recover before their next map.
Absolutely, yeah, really rough showing from them. And at the end of the day, I really don't understand what they can do to try and pull back into this one. Of course, we did expect Inferno to go Sinner's way, but I don't think we expected it to be just so one-sided. We'll be back in around about 10-15 minutes or so, folks, so don't go too far because we've got the second map of this series. It's going to be Train. It's going to be Team 1's pick, where they look to bounce it back and go to a third. So don't go too far. We'll be right back.